If you are in your early 20s, feeling invincible, making questionable decisions and thinking, future me will figure it out. Well, guess what? Future you does figure it out and they're not happy. So welcome back everyone. Today I'm taking you on a little journey through 3 massive mistakes I made in my early 20s. Mistakes that are still costing me today. But don't worry, this isn't just a roast of my younger self. I am also going to share how you can avoid these pitfalls and make future you eternally grateful. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's another mistake you would definitely want to avoid. Seriously, subscribing costs you nothing but can help you learn valuable lessons. Alright, let's get started. Mistake number 1, not planning for the future. Now, if you're in your early 20s, you might be thinking, why should I care about my future right now? I have plenty of time. That was exactly my mentality back then. I had just graduated from college and started working customer support jobs. I wasn't earning much, just enough to get by. But here's the kicker. I used to live with my brother, so I didn't have to pay any rent. Now you might think that would have been the perfect opportunity to start saving, right? No. My dad, being the wise man that he is, he kept telling me, Prabha, set aside some money, invest it in some funds, it'll help you down the road. But did I listen? Of course not. I was in India and I told myself I'm going to move abroad eventually, so what's the point of investing in India? Spoiler alert, that was a terrible excuse. Fast forward 3 years, I finally decided to move to Canada for higher education. But guess what? I had no savings. None. So what did I do? I took out an education loan. And while education loans aren't necessarily bad, they come with interest. And those are usually high interest. And now a huge chunk of my income started going towards paying off that education loan. I did everything I could to get rid of that loan faster. I doubled my monthly payments and I started putting every bit of extra cash I got to pay off that loan faster. And now I finally got rid of it. But looking back, I could have avoided all this stress if I had started saving up even a little bit during those 3 years. So lesson learned, even if you're earning small amount, it's important to start planning for your future. Save what you can, even if it's small, and if possible, start investing it. Trust me, future you will be so grateful that you did all this. Now on to mistake number 2, not investing in myself. So here's the thing. I wasn't a stellar student during my undergraduate degree days. I mean, I graduated, but let's just say my academics weren't exactly my forte. After finishing college, I started working in fields unrelated to my degree. And at first I thought, that's fine, it's not a big deal. And honestly, at that time, it wasn't. I found jobs in IT, first as tech support and then later I became an IT system admin. These roles were solid. They could have given me a great platform to build a long-term career. But did I take advantage of them? No. Instead of learning high-demand skills like cloud computing or data analytics, I just coasted. I stuck with what I already knew and I didn't push myself to grow. It wasn't until much later that I realized how much I had missed out on. By then, I had already lost opportunities that could have fast-tracked my career. Eventually, I decided to pursue a postgraduate certificate in project management in Canada to make up for the lost time. While I don't regret the path I took because every mistake is a learning experience, I can't help but think about where I would have been today if I had started investing in myself sooner. So the takeaway here is don't settle. The job market is constantly evolving and if you're not learning, you're falling behind. Whether it's taking a course, learning new skills, or even just reading books related to your field, always be investing in yourself. Future you will thank you. Alright, mistake number 3, not understanding the power of compounding. There's a famous quote by Albert Einstein that says compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. And honestly, he wasn't exaggerating. The power of compounding is like magic. It starts slow, almost boringly slow, but then it picks up momentum and grows exponentially over time. So what exactly is compounding or compound interest and how is it different from simple interest? So let me break it down for you. Imagine you have $10,000 and you invest it at an 8% annual simple interest rate. So with simple interest, you earn $800 every year. That's $10,000 multiplied by 8%. At the end of 10 years, you would earn $8,000 in interest, bringing your total to $18,000. Straightforward, right? But compounding works differently. In the first year, your $10,000 grows by 8%, so you earn $800, just like with simple interest. However, at the end of that year, your new principal becomes $10,800. In the second year, you don't just earn 8% on the original $10,000, you earn 8% on $10,800, which gives you $864 in interest. So by the end of the second year, your principal grows to $11,664, and the cycle continues. Now, by the end of 10 years, that same $10,000 would grow to $21,589 with compounding, over $3,500 more than simple interest. Now, that was just a basic example to understand the fundamentals. Imagine what would happen when you follow consistently, starting with even as small as $100 for a long time, like 20, 30, or even 40 years. Now let's talk about the real magic of compounding when it comes to long-term goals like retirement. Suppose you start investing $500 every month. With the power of compounding and the time on your side, you could retire as a millionaire. Now before anyone yells, what about inflation? I am talking about inflation adjusted. And here's the kicker. Time is your greatest ally here. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. It might take you 28 years to save your first $500,000, but here's the cool part. It would take just another 10 years to grow that same portfolio to $1 million inflation adjusted again. Inflation adjusted. That's the exponential effect of compounding at work. But compounding isn't just about money. The concept applies to almost every area of your life. Whether it's building a business, learning a new skill, or developing good habits, the earlier you start, the more time you give yourself to grow exponentially. And the best part? When you're young, you have the biggest advantage of all, which is time. You have the flexibility of experiment, fail, learn, and pivot without catastrophic consequences. So whether it's wealth building or personal growth, understand this: you're sitting on the most powerful resources you'll ever have. So use it wisely. If you're in your 20s or even 30s, it's not too late to start making smarter choices. Remember, every small step you take can lead to massive rewards down the road. And watch this video to learn how to grow from minimum wage to 6 figures, and I'll see you there.